Young, running wild, chasing stars into the night. Never knew where I belonged, just a fire burning bright. Took the long road, lost my way, that the echoes call you home. Through the dark and through the rain, I was never quite alone. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul. The winds are changing, I must go. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul. We're so really need to know. So don't wake me up till I find my way. Further highs and lows, I'm not afraid. Let the world stay on, like we won't miss fate. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. Find my way, find my way. I'll keep running till I find my way. Pulling back, it's could mean every road was meant to be. Every heartbreak, every scar, just a lesson setting free. I won't fear the grey unknown, and I won't wait for time to snow. Gotta chase it while I can, cause tomorrow's never told. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul. The winds are changing, I must go. Oh, oh, feel it in our soul. And so really need to know. So don't wake me up till I find my way. Further highs and lows, I'm not afraid. Let the world stay on, like we won't miss fate. I'll keep running I've been on this faith. I'll keep running till I find my way.
All right. And yes, keep going. There's a lot going on in our world with more yet to come. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this, yes, beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live here on the Intuitive Prospector platform and social media pages. Want to just say, hope you're doing well, given the times, given the uncertainty. Today, we're going to talk about transformations, something that I'm very familiar with over this last year and a half, getting ready for my this will be my fifth surgery since last April. So definitely a transformation of the body, but also the mind and of the spirit, working now with plant medicines at a very deep level of the mind. And of course, I work with my spirit every day, whether it's Qigong or meditations or breath work. That's a tattoo of breath as a reminder that is all we have is today, right? So I'm your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, here with you yet again on another, what I like to call soul adventures. I try to be here on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you have to check your local time zone because we reach people from all around the planet. And I want to just say thank you for being a subscriber, being a follower, following me on this journey of uncertainty, of unknown, of mystery, of mysticism, of mystic, whatever that journey may be. Uh, so the songs that I played this morning, oops, I totally just went off the page. The first one was about healing, and I apologize because I just totally closed the page when I wasn't trying to do that. But what I wanted to talk about is transformation. I'll come back to the musicians here in a second. And one of the things that really has resonated with me over this last, well, since April of 2024. I had my very first surgery and actually was forced into a medical retirement from, my previous life. I had a previous life as a first responder, U.S. Coast Guard, rescue swimmer, firefighter, EMT. Did a lot to the wear and tear of my body, but we have medicine today that allows us to keep going and to transform. And so I'm in just a few weeks here, I'm going to have my fifth surgery to my back. Well, fourth surgery to my back. The other one was to my knee. But it's going to hopefully give me sustainability and better quality of life. But it's five surgeries in, since April of 2024, a year and a half, or just over a year and a half. So that's a lot of surgeries. But one of the things that, as I was thinking about today's show, because when I come on, hi, Tara, good morning. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for the journey. Thanks for the follow. It came to my mind, and there's a quote from Buddha, and obviously, I'm a big fan of the Buddha network, and you need to let that shit go. But one of the quotes that came to my mind was, "To keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear." And so when I started to talk about wanting transformation, when I wanted to change, I wasn't happy with where I was in my career. I'd been working for the federal government for several years, hated it. It was almost, in a sense, it was like almost like slave labor. It just had no inspiration. The people that I worked with were just didn't really care. They just showed up knowing that they get a paycheck and didn't really have to do their job. And that's not it. That's who I've never been, right? But being around that and exposed to that on a daily basis was very frustrating. So, a year and a half ago, in April of 2024, is when my transformation really began. My first surgeries, my retirement from my former life, working in the federal government for 23 plus years, to be able to come on and be able to do more inspiring, impactful work, whether it's spirituality, psychic, mediumship, healing, transformation, music, plant medicines. Really have been working with plant medicine. So it was my duty, in order to keep my body in good health. It was not only my duty, but along the way, I have found that my mind is more strong. My mind is more clear. And it's usually the things that don't kill us do make us stronger. So I want to talk about some transformation and the music that we played. Now that I've got my music back up, because I always give a shout out to the musicians. I always pay it forward when I can, and try to let people know if they like the music that I'm playing, that it's copyright free and trademark free. So Ruby Manifu is Keep Going, and then Brian Todd was Find My Way. And I think that's what we're all trying to do in life, right? We're all trying to find our way. We're trying to keep going. We wake up every day, and we don't know if it's our last day, right? If you follow my journey, you know that I've talked about that on average every single day around the planet, there's 150,000 people that do not wake up, pass from accident, old age, sickness, wrong place, wrong time. And that's always kind of stuck with me. It's a podcast I did a couple seasons ago, and it's just a reminder that we should wake up with a new, fresh start. Yeah, maybe we've had some setbacks, maybe we've had some surgeries or some physical ailments or mental ailments, but it's about pushing forward, and it's about that duty on us to have that good health. And so today we're going to be talking about transformations and give you some actionable steps, things that I've learned along the way with my journey, things that I've learned from my guests on my syndicated podcast called Inspired Living. Had a fabulous guest on this last Wednesday, redefining public speech, which her and I have a lot of similarities. So if you want to check that post out, you can go to our group page, Inspired Living, which is about to hit 3,000 followers globally. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of people, but to me, when I started this 10 years ago of this journey of podcasting called Inspired Living, we had one person and then two people. So, if you build it, they shall come, they will come. And so I just want to say thank you to the Inspired listeners for the follow, for the listening, for voting to make our podcast moving into our 10th season as not just a best podcast for inspiration, but a best podcast for spirituality. We're in two categories now that we're actually ranked. And we have some more amazing shows coming up. So we'll be on the air again for Inspired Living in October, the 8th and the 22nd. We've got guests booked all the way out through the end of the year. And again, I promise you they'll be inspiring, encouraging, motivating shows to help you think outside the box, to help you find that life that you're wanting or desiring and always dreamed of, and manifesting in that to your heart's desire. But if you can change your mind, William James reminds us that if you can change your mind, you can change your life. And, somebody that I followed for years, Dr. Wayne Dyer, always said, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will start to change. And I found that to be true through transformation. So got a few of you tuned in this morning. Thanks for joining me. Again, my journey, if you follow my work, if you're a subscriber or a student or a fan or a listener, you know that in my journey, I've just always been passionately curious. I don't think I have any big skill sets, but I've always just been passionately curious about life, life after death, spirituality, religions, things that we just don't know, things that we don't see, things that we see here. I would say we have three eyes in life: two to look, one to see. Things, from space to, what's in our oceans, from the Loch Ness Monster to Bigfoot to extra dimensional beings to physics to quantum mechanics, things that, as the intuitive prospector of what I've done myself and prospected for to find the diamond within, but also to discover the many hidden gems all around us. And transformation is no different. Jane Fuller had said this: the physical affects the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, and vice versa. You cannot separate any of these, as they are integrated and affected by each other. And so today we're going to talk about transformation through the mind, through the body, and through the spirit, and something I have really gone through these last 18 months of transformation, including for those of you who follow my journey, you may notice I'm a little bit skinnier. I've lost almost 70 pounds since I've had the going to be my fifth surgery here in a week and a half. So any healing you want to send my way and holding space, I gratefully appreciate that, because this will be my fifth surgery since April of last year. And but losing the weight, not having that extra 70 pounds on my bones, on my joints. And one of the things that I found, especially when it comes from transformation through body, mind, spirit, is often viewed as a holistical approach. And it impacts every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our careers. It impacted my career. I was actually, because they wouldn't accommodate me anymore, knowing that I was a disabled veteran, big lawsuit still looming. They decided they wanted to discriminate and hold that against me. And so, those impacted my career, ended my career earlier. I could have gone probably another 10 years or 15 years of working, but those surgeries impacted my career and forced me into an early retirement that I didn't even plan on. But again, now that I'm retired, I'm glad I'm retired, and I can enjoy the rest of my life doing this and working with you and writing my second book and my podcast and doing readings and events and and not having to work for the man anymore, and be away from that, mentality. But it did, the transformation, when you ask for transformation, be careful what you ask for, because you have a lot of power. You have a lot of ability to change your life based on your intentions, your wants, your energy, your frequency, your vibration, and what you manifest into your heart's desire. And so that's the one thing it's taught me. And so I wanted to share some insights with you this morning, if that's okay, of transformation, and give you some actionable steps that I've taken for transformation. Again, from weight loss to mindset to surgeries to my body not working the way it used to. It still works, and I'm still grateful for that. But again, every single day, there's people that do not wake up. And one of the things that really brought that to my mind was when we went out of country on vacation for a beautiful, magical vacation, celebrating our 30th. With my beautiful wife, and we went to Portugal for 3 weeks, drove up and down the coast from the center to the north to the south and everywhere in between. And we were in Lisbon, which we say in America is Lisbon. Over there, it's Lisboa in Portuguese. And so we were in Lisboa, and we had the opportunity to ride one of their famous trams that go up and down the hill. They're very famous. They're old, and they run on a cable system. And I asked my wife Jenny if she wanted to get on it, and she said no. I don't feel something feels off about it. One, it was packed. Two, they say that it's a pickpockets love, especially been to Europe, about pickpockets. They love to get on those packed places and bump into you and try to pickpocket, so that's, you always got to be mindful of that. But there was a lot of people. So what we decided to do was not get on the tram, and took our picture in front of the tram, and then of course it coming down the hill. And then it would only be just a few hours later that we would learn, because our hotel was literally right around the corner from this famous location in Portugal, in Lisboa. And come to find out that the cable snapped, and the tram car went racing down the hill and slammed into the wall, and it actually killed 17 tourists, including an American, some Chinese, some Portuguese, a 3.5-year-old child, and caused injury to several more. But it literally killed 17 tourists, which then it became an international event and was making international news. And that just kind of put that in my mind, that perspective that we could have got on that tram and it could have been us, just a tourist enjoying our moment, and then on a flip of a dime things can change. And so I think about those families that get those phone calls from, hey, such and such was on this tram and they were killed. And it ended up being one of Portugal's worst transportation tragedies in their history. And so that would just kind of really just reminded me of the importance of today, and that tomorrow is never promised or guaranteed to anybody. So carpe diem, seize the day, live for today, because you never know when your journey ends. And part of that transformation is coming to the understanding that when you go through transformation, healing, and I hope that my sound, let me just double check my sound real quick. Last week I had some issues with sound, so hold on. Bear with me. And it was because Zoom, of course, Zoom is classic for changing their platform and not letting us know as end users what they did. But I believe that the sound quality was a little fuzzy because my setting for musicians was on, and I didn't realize that. It doesn't look like it's on now. It looked like I've changed it to the noise removal, but I just want to make sure that we're broadcasting. So if anybody, turn up your volume. Okay, let me turn my volume up. Let me turn my volume up. Bear with me, just because I want the quality to not have a static to it. So yes, I'm being the perfectionist. Let's go onto the page. Well, I can see that we're broadcasting, but I do not hear any sound. Wouldn't that be something? I've been talking this whole time with no sound. How embarrassing would that be? But, that's part of life, right? Failure, first attempt in learning. We're always learning, we're always growing, we're always transforming. There we go. Okay, so last week I was back. It was my first time back after being on a, like I said, wonderful trip for 3+ weeks traveling around the beautiful country of Portugal. And it was staticking. I couldn't figure out where the static was coming from. And then during my group was letting me know, hey, you're kind of noisy. Well, now they've changed the settings. It used to be up in the upper right-hand corner. Now it's down in the audio settings where the microphone is, that you got to turn that default setting to noise reduction, because Zoom is pretty awesome, because they do allow us as musicians, whether it's a sound bath, a guitar, a kalimba. Like if I was to play my kalimba right now, you would not hear it. But if I change the setting to musicians, then you could hear the kalimba. So I do a lot of work with sound. So, my apologies for last week with that static of just not knowing that they changed the settings. But thank you, Tara. Sounds perfect. So thank you for that. Hi, Iris. Hi, Christine. Hello, hello, hello. Nancy, hello to you. Thanks for being on. All right. So what I wanted to share with you today over a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea or even your protein shake is transformation. And again, these are just some insights that I want to share with you that I've experienced. And again, being out of country, seeing that transportation accident, it always just reminds me of how fragile life is, how important and awesome life can be. And so, that holistic well-being, because transformation through mind, body, and spirit, whatever your belief systems are, is important in achieving that balance in the mind, in the body, and the spirit. Now, my body feels a little overworked with, coming up on my 5th surgery in a 1.5 years, but obviously that is part of our transformation that I asked for, part of my healing, part of my letting go, like literally shedding weight and letting go through plant medicines to, purge things that no longer serve my higher path, things that take me down, including connections and relationships and careers and stuff. But as far as that achieving the balance in the mind, body, and spirit approach, um, it's, what I found in my journey is, trying to find spiritual fulfillment, mental clarity, improved physical health. Yes, the surgeries have been a step back, but also a step forward just through rehabilitation and recovery in time, right? But what I found with transformation, again, this is just my perspective, just sharing with you today on a Friday, is the resilience, increased resilience. And what I mean by that is as we grow through our experiences, as we grow and we develop a greater resilience to life's many challenges, it helps us to feel more equipped to handle stress, uncertainty, anxiety, adversity, self-sabotage of the mind. And, when you have that transformation, I have found in my journey that it's increased my resilience. And again, it's that, it really is true that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Of course, when you're in it, it doesn't feel like that. But, you know, my Dr. Maya Angelou had said this: if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, then change your attitude. So there were things that I couldn't change this last year and a half with my surgeries. And again, I do it all over again, being in service to my country, being in service to my community, now being in service to spirit and the spiritual work I do. But she's right. If you don't like something, change it. And I didn't like my career. I didn't like what I was doing, how people were behaving and acting, and what the government was doing, what the politics were doing. I hated it. And so it's like, well, if I can't change it, and sometimes you can set your intentions to manifest your heart's desires, and the universe will work with you to help you change that. But what I found, and that's a quote that I came back to a lot from Dr. Maya Angelou, was if you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your attitude, change the way you look at things. And when I started to do that, that was very, very beneficial to my spiritual journey, going deeper in my spiritual journey. I've been on the spiritual journey for 2 decades now, but this is really a depth that I have never achieved. This is swimming we can start in the pool, with water wings and paddle, dog paddling and trying to stay above the surface. When we get into that, awareness of change and transformation. But over this last 18 months, I swam into the deep end of the pool and then dove down to the bottom with what I've gone through. But it's also not did it just change my resilience in transformation, but it enhanced my relationships. Transformation often leads to better communication, humility, deeper connections with yourself and others. And we become more, at least I've become more empathetic, more compassionate, and more understanding since, my mantra has always been be humble or get humbled. And there's so many times I put my foot in my mouth to be humbled by the things I do or the things I say. And, the other thing I found through transformation is purpose and meaning. When you're going under the knife, you're going under anesthesia, and you're not sure, there's no guarantee that you are going to wake up. I mean, the chances are pretty high. They're always, anytime you're working on somebody's spine, there's always that, risk of not waking up or waking up paralyzed, or, you're working with the spine, right? But it gave me, this journey of transformation, I find helps clarity in our values, our beliefs, whatever your beliefs are, and, guiding us towards a more purposeful life. That's what I found through transformation and healing and wanting the transformation. Like I said, be careful what you ask for, because you have more power than you realize in this journey. The emotional healing, especially through the working with plant medicines at a very deep level now over the last, since I've retired, has really helped me with the emotional healing, through the plant medicines, which are nothing new, y'all. Plant medicines, I always say plants, not pills. Plant medicine has been around for thousands of years in ancient times, cultures that honor the plant world, plant medicines. But the emotional healing that I've experienced from that is, engaging with this new process, because I'd never really worked with plant medicines before because of my previous life and what I did in my career. Many times those things were not legal here in the States, legal elsewhere in the world. But it helped me to release past traumas and tragedies, the things that I've written about and podcasts about, the TNT, the trauma and tragedy that blew my life up, starting at the age of 27 with severe loss, brothers, father-in-law, my own near-death experience, but also fostering through this journey of emotional healing and transformation. It's fostering emotional healing and growth, right? Spiritual growth is a big part of it. An example from that is I've had a development group for 10 years here via Zoom that we meet weekly with beautiful students and people and friends from around the United States, Canada, and the UK. And it's been for years called the Spiritual Development Group because we're always developing, right? Especially if you want to learn more about psychic and healing and mediumship and intuition and, quantum dimensional stuff. There's a whole package there, right? But I never liked the word development group because it just felt like another group. And after my work with, the plant medicines and realizing just how small we are and how interconnected we really are, I changed the group name from SDG to SGC, which now stands for the Spiritual Growth Collective. There's still development that takes place within the collective, but collective to me just felt like a better name. Growth felt like a better name than development group, Spiritual Growth Collective. So you can, if you want to learn more about that, you can go to marclainhart.com, click on the big blue diamond, it generates an email to either myself or my manager if you want to have a visitor's pass to visit, because it's not an open group to the public. It's actually a closed private group. So and I love my tribe. I love the people that are in it and what they bring to the collective for that spiritual growth. But my emotional healing this last 18 months through the plant medicine has really helped me to release a lot of my traumas and my tragedies, or the TNT that really changed who I am, my belief system, and what I do today, and what I write about in podcast about. So here's some actionable steps to help you with the mind, the body, and the spirit. So the example for actionable steps, obviously regular exercise. Exercise is proven, whether that's walking, swimming. I love to play hoops, lift weights, swim when I can. I can't right now because my body is not, I'm waiting surgery, so I can't do the things that I want to do, which is frustrating. But still finding time for regular physical activity, walking, breath exercises, movement, qigong. I do a lot of qigong because it helps me to open up my body without intense yoga poses. Qigong's a little bit more user-friendly, more energetic friendly, stretching, but incorporate a daily routine of exercise like qigong or yoga, if you can do yoga, walking, dancing, drumming, music, to improve the physical health, but also increase your energy levels. This is just actionable steps that you can take for transformation for the body, right? For the spirit or for the mind, dedicate a few minutes each day to mindfulness, to a meditation or deep breathing exercises to cultivate awareness, to cultivate mindfulness, to cultivate a tactic for reducing stress or anxiety or depression, or maybe even, maybe you're on a journey of you're thinking about why are you even here? Suicidal thoughts, suicide, what is it? What I'm trying to say is, I need more coffee. Suicidal, not actions, but just your thoughts that become very dark and negative. And exercise and mindful, breathful, sound bath exercises can help change that, literally, if you just take the time to do it. For the spirit, engage in activities that resonate with who you are. Not what Marc says, but things that resonate with who you are, your spirit, journaling, attending spiritual workshops, getting out into nature, which I've always said nature is our first home and is our church, really, because it's through nature that we've connected and healed and learned from the plant medicine. And Mother Nature is the greatest engineer, the greatest inspirer. She is the landlord, and she can evict at any time. And I think we forget that. And I think we'll learn that in the days ahead, the days, months, and weeks, and years ahead of a reset for human consciousness. But some of those actionable steps is, especially connecting with nature is very, very important. Like I said, my body's not ideations. Thank you, Tara. Suicide ideations. That again, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I just saw it pop up, and I was like, what am I trying to say? Maybe I'm still a little jet lagged from being out of country for so long. But I appreciate that. Thanks for that interaction. Suicide ideations. So, we don't want to go down that path. I've been down that path. It's not a fun place to be. It can be very dark. And part of that transformation and that healing through body, mind, and spirit will take you to those places. And what I would say is encourage you to lean on family, friends, colleagues, people you trust, a development group, a mentor. I've had a lot of people, your fur babies, I've had a lot of people that I can lean on to during this very transformative time in my life. But as far as, moving with these actionable steps that I'm sharing with you today for transformation, the body, the mind, the spirit, but also integration. What I love about working with plant medicines is after you've had your 3-day event, they actually do a 6-week integration about the struggle, about returning to some of your old habits that you're like, I don't want to go back to. I want to stay connected where I'm at and the healing process. But integration, experiment with holistic therapies like Reiki, like acupuncture, like aromatherapy, to help support that body, mind, and spirit connection through that integration process. What I like to use, I've been working with a plant medicine called hape, which is a tobacco used by many indigenous cultures in South America. And then you actually have it, you use a little, I don't think I have it close by. But use a kind of like a V-shaped pipe, and you load up the tobacco and you actually blow it into your nostrils, and it actually makes your eyes water. It's not a getting high purpose. It's actually to balance you. And I do it a lot before my meditations now. And again, very ancient tradition that's been used for thousands of years by many different indigenous cultures around the world. And again, it's a plant medicine. But what that helps me, that helps me with my integration of the healing and transformation process that I've gone through. So again, there's many different modalities. Try to find one that you resonate with that makes sense to you is what I would say. If you want more information, again, you can book me at marclainhart.com. My calendar is back open. Ever since I've gotten back, I've been actually quite busy with my students, my clients, my readings. And I do want to give a shout out and say thank you to seattlesecrets.org. Before I left, I don't remember the reading, but somebody had come out and had done a reading with me, I guess, because I do a lot of different readings. And the gentleman actually wrote a review, and he actually coined me as one of the best psychics in Seattle. And actually, that's how it's publicized. So if you see that on my page, it's not me saying I'm the best psychic in Seattle. That's actually something that was done from a perspective of a writer that came and had a reading with me. I don't know when, because I don't remember, because I do a lot of different readings online, here in the studio, over the phone, sometimes email. And it was a really nice review. And that's how the article comes up. And it's seattlesecrets.org. And you can look at it, and it's posted here at marclainhart.com. But it actually says the best psychic in Seattle, which I found to be very humbling, very honored to be recognized for my work and, what I put into this work, right? Part of that transformation. So I was very humbled to receive that insight, I guess. But the other thing for transformation, whether it's body, mind, spirit, integration of those three, is your community. Community, join a community or a tribe that shares your interests, that is helping you in your personal growth. It could be a book club, could be a support group, it could be a spiritual community, it could be your church. If that's, I'm not religious, I'm actually spiritual. There's a big difference between the two. I'm not going to take the time to break that down. You can always do your own prospecting for the difference between being religious and being spiritual. I believe that there's a lot of good things through different religions around the world, not just one set religion. But try to find a community that will help you grow, like the Spiritual Growth Collective that I just recently changed to help people spiritually grow, still develop, but grow as a collective. And so, hi, Christina. So glad to catch you live. Yes, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Ashley. Just seeing some of you jump on and say hi. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Hyatt. Let me know if you're catching me live. Great. This will be encore over on my YouTube channel. Again, all my links are right here at marclainhart.com. One-stop shop, podcast, articles, sound bath, meditations, how to book a reading with me, my bio, my education, things that I've learned and mentored, and it's all right there. So if you want to learn more, but if you're just catching me, if your first time, let me know where you're from. Hello to all of my top fans and subscribers. I've got 2 subscribing platforms if you want to subscribe to that. Again, right here, Diamonds Hub and Patreon Prospectors. Another good way to interact with me on a monthly basis. For you subscribers, I know that I was out of country for that first Friday, because it's the first Friday of every single month is Diamond Days, where we have 2 sessions, morning and afternoon, where you can come in and interact with me, get some advice, get some consulting, get a healing, do a meditation, do a sound bath, do a breath work, whatever it is, do a mediumship reading, whatever it is you need. So it's a great way and a reason to subscribe, because I don't do a lot of the free stuff that I used to on my platforms. And again, that's Patreon, Prospectors, and Diamond Sub, different pricing structures. Check them out, what seems what's right for you. But if you are one of my Diamond Sub or one of my Patreon Prospectors, put in the comments and let me know, because I'm going to be doing a makeup session today for Diamonds Days, because next Friday will be the first Friday of October, and I'll be back on regular schedule to do another Diamonds Days. But if you want something, if you are a subscriber of those two platforms, please post in the comment and I'll see what I can do for you as a way to give back and honor your subscription. So I was just out of country, didn't have the technology to connect, plus the time zone. I was 8 hours ahead, so the time zone was completely off for me. But I haven't forgot about my subscribers and my fans. I love you. Thank you so much for the follow and the support. So with that said, let's just kind of recap where we're at. We're talking about transformation and healing today. Transformation of the body, transformation of the mind. Oh, that's interesting. Just saw a rat go down the alley. Hold that thought. Time to go to the spirit animal guides. What does it mean when you see a rat? I don't know if the rat's even in here. There's the rat. So again, when I interact with my reality, this reality, the physical reality, the third dimensional reality, literally see a rat go running down my alley. Seattle's known for their rats, and I'll get that. Hopefully they'll stay out of my garden. If the rat shows up, a project or investment is about to pay off. You have plenty available to you at all times, in spite of any thoughts or fears that this isn't so. This is a good time to exercise caution and to be the best of your ability to anticipate what lies ahead. Take an inventory of the material goods you have and recycle or throw out what is no longer purposeful. So that's the rat. Great book. He was a former guest on my show, Animal Spirit Guides by Dr. Stephen D. Farmer. He's a PhD. That's what he looks like. Awesome dude. He sent me cards, sent me this book. Long story there of how I first interacted, because I had an interaction with a mountain lion years ago in Calistoga, California, for wine tasting of all places. So when I looked it up, that's actually the resource that came up was this book. And then about 6 years later, he was actually a guest on my show. And I've got some spirit animal cards somewhere in here. And then of course that book that he sent me. So I always have to look up, because it's not every day that I see a rat go running down the alley. So, all right. So back to what I was saying before I got squirreled, this rat distracted. Body, mind, spirit, integration. For those three, it's important to have integration for those three. Community, and then of course reflection. Reflection is a big part of the transformative process. Setting time aside to self-reflect, or as I always teach on, take the time to disconnect so you can make that time to reconnect. Through journaling, I'm about to complete my second journal. I've only got 2 pages left, and I have a new journal that I purchased in Portugal, because Portugal is the world's biggest exporter of cork. So this is actually my new cork journal that I have not even broken the seal on yet, and it actually comes with a cork bookmark. But this is getting ready to journal my third journal. I take all my journals and I put them in my safe for a later date, or for somebody else to read when I'm gone. But journaling is a great way of reflection. Sitting in front of a mirror gazing is a great way to reflect. Fire gazing. For me, it was being in Portugal, sitting by the Atlantic Ocean, watching the waves come in and letting the beauty of the Atlantic Ocean take away the stuff that was hurting or blocking or self-sabotaging, and allowing the ocean to take away as I just sat and floated. It was cold, but it was nice because it was sunny there. But then allowing the Atlantic Ocean to bring back my sparkle. That's something that I'm always reminded of. I have a little stone right here that says sparkle. As a reminder that our journey, we're like instruments. We get tuned out, and we need to find ways to reflect on our retuning, like a guitar, like an instrument. And so, make that time to disconnect so you can make that time to reconnect. And again, access your growth. Identify areas for improvement. Identify areas where maybe you could do a better job. Maybe you didn't try as hard. Maybe you overthought it, and you looked at it as a failure when it wasn't a failure. It was just a first attempt in learning. So a lot of times too, in our journey of transformation and healing and letting go, is that gratitude. I always talk about how important it is to have that attitude for gratitude. A lot of times we know people, family, friends, coworkers that are just always the victim of life. There is just, you talk to them and you get done talking to them and you're drained because all they did was talk about and complain about their misery, how things didn't work out right. And that's definitely not a step towards gratitude. And that's definitely not a step towards healing in my perspective and in my opinion. But gratitude is start a gratitude journal, start a dream journal, start, writing about your experiences, for the fact that, uh, be thankful for today, write down three things. What are three things? This will help you get out of your mindset, especially if you're, playing the victim of your own circumstances, which there's a lot of humans that do that. But write down three things that you're thankful for and shift your focus towards that positivity, towards that attitude for gratitude. So, for example, today I am thankful for a warm shower, a roof over my head, out of the elements of Mother Nature, because Mother Nature can be very, very brutal. And the third thing, I'm going to say, you as followers and fans and fellow intuitive prospectors that join me here on Fridays for discussions, for chats, for perspective, and of course, coffee. Thank you, God, for coffee. Do you ever practice Reiki? That's Kara's asking. I do, actually. Actually, I had recommended my wife do it I got her a gift for her birthday almost 2 years ago now, but she's been going for 2 years to an actual Reiki person. I personally, because I work a lot with my sound bath and my singing bowls, and I work a lot with instruments, my guitar, my kalimba. I want to get a handpan or a flute. So that for me is kind of my Reiki. And then, of course, the Qigong that I do in the mornings to wake up my body, my physical body, but to also wake up my energy, Kara, is for me, that's my form of Reiki. I don't actually go to a Reiki therapist, but my wife does. And I go more to a massage therapist for my body. And then, of course, I do a lot of mental sitting, sitting right there, drumming, sitting in the silence and the stillness, working on breath. Breath is very, very important for and very, very healing and transformative. But to answer your question, I don't actually practice it. I don't go to a practitioner, but I do a lot of different modalities that would still encompass that philosophy of Reiki, which I completely believe in it. Along the same lines as acupuncture. So if there's a modality out there, I've probably done it just as part of my curiosity as the intuitive prospector. But Reiki is just something that I don't personally gravitate towards, but I still think it's beneficial. But thank you for that question. And again, ask me questions, y'all. If you want to interact, please interact, post a comment. I'd love to get your perspective, because that's the journey of life, right? The journey is, we all try to be right with our opinions. It's not about being right or wrong. It's just about showing up to life with your perspective and learning from other people. And I think that's why society is so dysfunctional and so divided. And we're heading for some very dark times ahead. you don't even need my perspective from that. I've been talking about this for years. If you follow my work and my articles and my podcast, but even being out of country this time for, being in Europe and getting the perspective from Europeans and other people that were coming to Europe, the world is on edge. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. NATO was a high alert. There was a lot of things going on. And I believe that we're heading towards that, because we eventually will have to come to what I call the great coming together, where the planet realizes that we all share the same place. We're all the same blood, the same heart. Yeah, we may look different. We may have different opinions, but it's when you have people that force their opinions upon you. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your facts. And that's really the problem where we've run into, is people believe their own sets of facts. And history repeats itself, right? We know that history doesn't repeat itself exactly the same way, but it does have that rhyme and that rhythm. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had another world war, not a nuclear war, but just conflict, where our world has been filled with conflict for the last 2,000 years. I think we've only had 30 years of peace. If we backtrack 2,000 years, there's only been 30 years of peace without some sort of struggle or war or divide or ego, right? But I also see that, if you follow my journey, that I can see us having a great coming together at some point. Evolution, the real evolution and revolution, is the rise of consciousness and moving from a three-dimensional construct to a fourth and fifth dimensional construct, and the evolution of human consciousness that will take us far past our own planet. but we're not there yet. We're not even a level one. Uh, we're not even a level one as far as galactic goes. We're not even at level one. We're still about 150 years away from that, but we're getting there. We're seeing that with technology, AI, robotics, automation, algorithms. There's a lot of change that is happening, but I'm not a doom and gloom psychic. I think that there'll be normal natural disasters and wars, just like history's taught us. But as a spiritualist and as a professional psychic, I look at the good, and we always rise above. We always have, always will. And there'll be a point where there's a great coming together. I don't know if that's going to be fostered from an internal natural event. Super volcano could change overnight, right? Tsunami could change overnight, right? Something deep within the planet, something in our oceans, something from outer space. It's interesting. I don't know if you all watch world events, but I've got my development group, my spiritual growth collective. See, I even just said SDG. I've got them working on a psychic exercise to see what the heck is going on with our government, calling all of the admirals, generals, flag officers, and their staff from around the world to be in Quantico, Virginia next Thursday. Why is that? Why would you? I've never historically, and I've served in the military for many years, I've never seen a logistical meeting of this nature calling all military branches. So we're talking Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, Army, Space Force. Did I leave anybody out? If I did, I apologize. Marines, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Space Force, but all military branches, all their commanders, generals, admirals, I'm talking 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, the flag officers, their staff have all been called by the director of the Pentagon, now the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, and nobody knows why. And so you don't call a bunch of people together unless there's a reason, especially financially. Just follow money. That is going to be a very expensive meeting for us as taxpayers. But they're not saying why everybody's being recalled from around the world. And again, not just the United States. We're talking all military branches from around the world. Why is that? So I've got my tribe tuning in, and you can even put there's no there. They're calling, but you don't usually pull a bunch of leaders together from around the world unless you have something to say from just a cost perspective, right? So that's very interesting to me. That and does it have something to do with this 31 Atlas that's streaming our way? One Harvard academic has said that this is actually intelligence coming our way. That it's a huge mothership. I don't know. The others are saying it's a comet. It's misbehaving. It's not doing the normal things that it should. James Webb is following it. It's traveling at 130,000 miles per second, which is very fast. Something that a comet normally doesn't do. But if you look at the timing, they said by early November, we should know more about what this thing is. That's 31 Atlas, which again, you've got a Harvard scientist saying that it's behaving with intelligence. Wouldn't that be something? And I said within our roaring 20s, this decade of transformation and ascension, that we would learn that we're not alone in this universe, or that we're not the alpha species that we think we are on planet Earth. Because again, they don't have to come from outer space. There's a lot we don't know about our oceans, and there's a lot we don't know about deep down in the earth. So, perspectives and opinions, of course. I always say wait, watch, and witness, but that would bring the world together pretty quick, wouldn't it? Or either divide it and be the doom and gloom. But I don't see that. I don't subscribe to that. So if you follow my work, you know that I'm not a doom and gloom kind of psychic forecaster. But I come back to what I was saying about transformation is that gratitude can help you get out of your own way, especially today, because all you have is the present moment. And why do I do these videos? Why do I do these shows? Because I know that I won't be here forever. And I know that at least with my podcast, you can get my podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasting shows. We're on all networks now, most networks: iHeart, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podbean, Deezer, Spreaker. The list goes on. But to leave messages behind is part of the legacy of, talking about spirituality, talking about intuition, talking about psychic and mediumship and growth and plant medicines. And I know that people won't agree with me, and I've been labeled, I've been called everything that you can imagine, both good, bad, and everything in between. And that's fine, because that's part of my learning. But the one thing I can learn to do is move into that gratitude for what I'm thankful for and what I'm in control of. And the only thing I'm really in control of is how I respond or don't respond to my material world. I call it the PEMS: the physical, the emotional, the mental, the material, and the spiritual. So one of the other things here is continuous education. My mantra has always been, once growth stops, decay begins. So even through my transformation of surgeries and, like I said, fifth surgery coming up in less than 18 months, that's also part of my learning approach to it, and being grateful for the amazing body that I have that allows me to do things. There's people in my life that I know that don't have the ability to walk, have never walked in their lives. My niece, who is my hero, Sarah. When I'm feeling bad about my life or things I don't get to do or can't do, I think about people that are less, fortunate and don't have those blessings of just walking or moving her hands in a normal way. Because with cerebral palsy, it's like 100 times the gravity of what we feel. So imagine 100 times gravity on your body, right? But learning is part of the process, whether it's through the pain, because pain can teach us. That's the one thing I've learned. We don't want pain. Nobody is asking for pain. I know that I wasn't. But I'll tell you what, pain has taught me some very deep spiritual lessons and deep spiritual healing and transformations and letting go. But read books, take courses, attend workshops, challenge your thinking, challenge your bias, challenge your opinions, challenge your learned behaviors, challenge your own religious viewpoints or spiritual viewpoints, and expand your understanding of the body, of the mind, and of the spirit. If you engage in these steps that I've shared with you today, I feel, and I know because I've done it, that you can facilitate a profound transformation in who you are, your healing, your viewpoints, how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world. And, I find that it enriches our life journey. It enriches and fosters that deeper connection. I have it right off camera here, the card that I'm always reminded of: to know thyself. Who are we? Why are we here? Self-observation, awakening, self-understanding, enlightenment. And even the Buddha talked about, when we get to that state of enlightenment, if you don't know what that means, do some prospecting on that. Even at enlightenment, you still have to do the laundry. You still have to clean the toilet. You still have to tend your garden. And so, I've just found through what I've gone through these last 18 months and sharing with you on my journey of the transformation journey, is that deeper connection with self, to know thyself, and to know the world around you. So I hope that makes sense. Mental health is a big part of it, learning and growth. Again, like I said, journaling, that nature connection, meditations, spiritual practices, the integration communities, supportive relationships, volunteering. That's something that I'm looking at. Goal setting is fun. Celebrating your milestones, celebrating your small victories, no matter how small or how big. Adaptability. Darwin always said it wasn't the strongest that survived or the smartest that survived. It was those that were most flexible and adaptable that survived. So remember that. Be like bamboo, strong yet flexible but unbreakable. And again, if you engage with these practices that I'm talking about today, whether it's Reiki or Qigong or breath meditation or mentoring on your spiritual development, maintaining that commitment and that discipline and that dedication, things that are foundational in my tribe that I lead on a weekly basis, or my senior students lead on a weekly basis. If you commit to that transformation, you're going to cultivate, I promise you will cultivate a richer, more fulfilling life experience, and you will connect more profoundly with yourself, the people that you never thought you would, and the world around you. So I hope that makes sense today. If you want to leave a comment, please do so. Hi, Athena. Hi, Denise. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here. Hi, Tina. All right. So a couple of you tuning in today. I hope that makes sense. Again, we're talking about the journey of transformation through mind, body, and spirit, and giving you some actionable steps on what to work with. What I'll do for just the sake of time, if you are on today with me and you are a Diamond Sub subscriber, again, you can get everything right here at marclainhart.com or a Patreon Prospector. Go ahead and put in the comments if you need something. You're wanting something, if you want a card, I'll do a card reading for you. We can bring you into the Zoom room afterwards. Say you want to do a Zoom reading, and I'll give you my private link to the Zoom room. But again, you have to be a subscriber, because I'm just kind of making up for my first Friday of September, because I was actually traveling. I think I was actually in the air at the time. That's why I couldn't do the show, because I couldn't get the technology to connect. But I'm just honoring the Diamonds Day, which is always the first Friday of every month. So next Friday will be the first Friday of October. Diamonds Days. Again, you get special links within the Diamonds page. The Diamonds Hub page, there's a link for the subscribers, or Patreon. There's a link both in the morning. I think it's 11:30 Pacific Standard Time AM, and then 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So because I have an international group, so morning is mostly for my international group, and the afternoon is more for my domestic people in the United States group. But it's, for the cost, it's a great way to get a monthly reading, get a monthly booking, get a monthly consulting, whatever it is that you're looking for. Because again, I work with people at many different levels. It's not all psychic, it's not all mediumship. It's sometimes intuition or sound bath or meditation or just reading or holding space. I did a session just holding space for somebody that was just in a really difficult spot. So big part of what I do, because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So if there's any questions, go ahead and ask your questions real quick, and I'll try to get to you. And I'm looking for your badge. If you got a badge next to your name, then I know that you're a follower, subscriber. If you don't, that's fine. Go ahead and ask your questions too, and I'll do some pro bono work here for a few minutes and give some freebie stuff out if that's what you're looking for. Again, I have an event coming up in October. If you want to work with me in person, I'll be at the Conscious Wellness Expo October 18th and 19th, so next month. I'll be at my normal location, normal booth, and I'll be also a keynote speaker or guest speaker or whatever you want to call it. So that's my one weekend. I do it 2 times a year, both in the spring and the fall. It's called the Conscious Wellness Expo. It's all free. Come by, say hi, give me a hug, get a quick reading if you want. I'll be doing speed readings for like 20 minutes. So it's a good way to just interact. But there's a lot of cool things. There's a lot of guest speakers. There's a lot of cool different experiences, modalities, crystals, auric photos. It's really, really fun. And I'll probably be doing more than now that I'm retired, but that's coming up in October. I've also got a experience etheric course that I'm working on that I will be announcing next month. I'm working on that right now. My next newsletter will be coming out in October, Soul Adventures. So if you want to get on that, Soul Adventures, again, it's all at marclainhart.com, what's coming up. Working with plant medicines, a basic 101 course. If you want to work with plant medicines in a safe space with somebody that's actually worked with plant medicines, happy to help you as well. So if there's no questions, I'll cue up some music to close the show. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul. Oscar Wilde. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of those depths. Not sure who said that. It says it's unknown, but again, there's a lot of truth to that. And I found that even with the people I've interviewed on my podcast over the last 10 seasons. And I believe the next show we're doing will be airing live on Om Times Television. So the podcast, I gotta still coordinate with my producer, Chris, but I believe next show on October 8th will be our first time of airing live on Om Times Television, and then it will still podcast as normal to the normal platforms through the audio aspect, but we are moving to the television platform. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm a little nervous about that, but it should be fun because I get to interview in very inspiring, motivated, educated people, just like the guest I had on, who was a doctor and really just talked about redefining public speech and what that means, and it was very insightful. So again, if you want to get the podcast, links at marclainhart.com. Just internet search Inspired Living, look for my mug, or just in internet search Intuitive Prospector. Many ways to find me. So okay, so I am just seeing if there's any questions here. Hi Jeannie, you're welcome. Kara, let's see. Do you ever? Oh, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm behind. Christine says, thank you for sharing your wisdom. You're very welcome, my friend. Good to see you. All right. Hi, Athena. Good to see you, my friend. A couple of you joining in. Some people come in and out. That's fine. Some people catch the replay. The replays are usually over my YouTube channel. So again, thank you to the, 40,000 plus intuitive prospectors that have subscribed. So you can catch other shows over on my YouTube channel if you're not catching them here through the social media platforms. Preferably, I'm on Facebook. I'll maybe get over to TikTok. I don't know. I'm getting older. I'm getting more tired, so I'm kind of being specific with where I'm going. But I hope to see you next Friday for another show. It'll be Diamonds Day, so another reason to sign up and become a subscriber. Links are also in the comment section down here in this live feed if you want to get on, become a Patreon prospector or a Diamonds Hub subscriber. Those are the two ways to take advantage of those free readings every month, which is the first Friday of every month called Diamonds Days. And then we'll be back on the air with Om Times Television on October 8th, I believe. And of course, that'll be a normal podcast once we're done with the television. Yep. Have a fabulous weekend as well. Beautiful weather in South Dakota. I love it. Hi, Tina. Yeah, love it. Enjoy the rest of the fall. It's my favorite time. We're past the equinox now. Equinox is on Monday, which we find the day to be equally balanced, and now the hemisphere is switching. So we're now switching into the fall, my favorite time. The leaves change, they fall away, spring comes back, everything recycles. Pumpkin spice lattes back, football's back. My favorite holidays, Thanksgiving's coming, around the corner. So it's my favorite time of the year is the fall season. I love the fall season. It gets a little bit cooler, but practice balance too. The world practices balance. The nature practices balance. You as a human being should practice balance as well. So I don't see any comments coming in. So I will end it there. Let me cue up a cool song for us to take us out. Let's see here. What's a fun song? Again, all of the music here is always trademark free, royalty free. There's something about the fall season. Let me type in the fall. If I was talking about the fall season. Fall. So I have a sound collection that's been approved through the social media platforms. We Fall Together, Viking War Party. Oh, that must be interesting. Sunseeker. Let's see here. I want to play something new for y'all. Honest. Falling Leaves, Spatchel. Okay. So let's go with Falling Leaves. It says it's cinematic, so we're going to leave it there. But I want to just thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Until our next soul adventure together, if we have a next soul adventure together, there's no ever promise of that. It's just a reminder to be kind, be caring, be compassionate in who you are and what you do. And most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, discover the diamond within, but also I hope that you'll discover many of the hidden gems that are all around us that are seen and that are unseen. So I'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. And get over to my YouTube channel, catch the latest video over there. That's going to be coming out later this afternoon. My next newsletter is coming out, podcast 2 Wednesdays from now. And I will see some of you in October for the Conscious Wellness Expo, or I'll see some of you online next month for Experience Etheric and Hape 101. All right. I'll see you then. Until that time, namaste. Namago. Take care, everybody.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.